All right. So this is sort of a weird video in that it's testing the waters. So I'm planning to do a series on Aurora 4X. I originally tried streaming it because I figured streaming it and then cutting down the boring bits where like I'm designing parts or picking what research I'm going to do. And then uploading that. But my internet's so crap that I can't actually stream this. But the 5 minutes that I did stream is like one of the most viewed videos on my channel from like, before I restart uploading. Like, there's still videos from before that have way more views, but like only like 2 or 3 times more views. It's got like 12 views in a week or something, 2 weeks. And it's a 5-minute video of the game, like, and I don't even do anything. I just go, oh, yeah, no, my internet can't handle this, and close it. So, I'm planning to do a series because people clearly want to see it. So, this is going to be me running through the game, and if this video gets like 1 like, I'll actually go to the effort. Why is this gone to normal system? I'll go to the effort and I'll make like an edited series, because my biggest concern with doing a series with Aurora is there's lots of downtime, and I'm not the sort of person that can first off not talk but then talk at specific points. Like, if I record the whole thing and edit it, like, there'll be no interesting bits except maybe combat and shit. But it's like, if I don't know I'm doing it for the video, I'll sit silently and just think. Whereas if I'm doing it for the video, I'll talk. So I'm thinking this, I'll try and make it a bit story driven, I guess. In that, like, I want to do some stuff that actually involves editing, but I'm really bad at coming up with stuff that needs editing. I have one project that I'm sort of working on, but not really. But hopefully this will work out. Like, And the idea is if this video gets some views and like 1 like, maybe 2, maybe 2 likes, I'll come up with like a little plot, like, so I'll create the world and the characters now, and then I'll actually like write like a backstory and a little intro, and then I'll do like, each episode will be 10 minutes of like I'll play the game, because I'm going to have invasions turned on. And it's going to be like, I'll play the game for so many years, 10 years maybe, and then summarize what happened and edit that together into a video. And they can build a story like, oh, this commander got promoted and like, for his valor, come up with some kind of dumb story, and then as the story progresses, so as I play more and more of the game and I develop characters, like I'm hopefully, like, I mean, this all depends on if I remember, but like, I can assign a specific commander that I've referenced earlier to a ship, mention that, and then when that ship gets blown up, build the story sort of like RimWorld style, I guess, of like, you could summarize all the events of the game as a text file of this event happened, and then you can, that's actually more like Dwarf Fortress, then you can build a contextual story of why, because the game, it's not going to tell me why this commander was promoted, but it will tell me that they were promoted because of these skills and this political bonus, and I can be able to make up a little story about why they got that political bonus, or some, like just I don't know, have fun with being creative and making like a bunch of short videos of characters, like dossiers on different characters as I assign them, like, the person in charge of Earth and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to quickly run through the settings of what the world will be, and hopefully this video gets some views and some likes, and I'll actually be much more motivated to make the series and actually make it a series. Whereas if this video, doesn't do as well as the 5-minute fucking live stream clip that I have on my channel, it will super dismotivate me. Just talking about it though, I really like the concept and might do it either way, but it's certainly like, if this gets some likes, it'll definitely get more more effort put in. Like I'll actually record this when I don't have silent, because that's a big thing. Is another thing that adds to this. Is Aurora is the sort of game where it'll take 10 hours, to make the series, or okay, that's maybe a bit over the top. It might take an hour to make a 10-minute video sort of thing, because a lot of the time spent doing nothing, fiddling with what to research and building and designing ships and stuff like that, where it's just like it's just a lot of thinking and not a lot of doing. And I don't have that much time when I'm guaranteed to not get interrupted. So I don't want to spend an hour of that, making an Aurora video when I could make 3 or 4 videos of another series. I mean, at this point, it's done not be the case. But, if I'm going to edit it down really heavily and summarize it, then I only need like the 10 minutes of recording the script, at which I could go find a place, because I don't need to be at my computer to record the script. And then I can edit it all together and make the series. Like I don't need to talk over the gameplay, which means I can record the audio separate from where my gaming computer is set up, if that makes any sense. And yeah, so basically if this video gets any traction at all, like literally 2 likes will be enough traction for me to consider this to be, or 10 views, 2 likes or 10 views. That's how high my standards are, which is I don't know if it's better. Like likewise, I don't think it's better than the other video, but it's view-wise, it's worse. The other video is 12 views last time I looked at it. Anyway, I'm rambling a ridiculous amount. This video is probably going to be deleted once I've decided to make the series, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, but if this video gets any traction at all, I'll actually go to the effort of recording the stuff, and getting episodes made. If it doesn't get the traction, I'll only do it if I'm like, oh yeah, no, this seems like the perfect time to, and just fuck around with it. Do it when I have time, as opposed to making time to do it. But anyway, let's run through the settings of the game that I'm going to start. Just ignore this one in the background. This is a game. I think this is the game that I was going to stream, but as you can see, it's still on 1st of January 2020. Because like I got 5 minutes in and was like, my internet can't handle this. Anyway, so I don't think any of these settings matter. Like this one doesn't, and this one doesn't, because I'm using real solar systems. So, and I think all of these say at the end, this setting does not affect real star games and node systems. It's real star games. So I think those 3 don't matter. Construction cycle I'm going to leave to default, which I believe is every 5 days, which basically means that if you don't go past the 5-day threshold, nothing gets built. Like, so if it says it's got 3 days left, you may as well take a bunch of construction site things which isn't necessarily quite right. Like, because the construction cycle could be in a day, but it's if you're stepping forward a day or an hour, it doesn't update the construction every hour. It updates the construction every 5 days. So, yeah, basically, if you're stepping anything less than 5 days to try and get something done, if something's going to take less than 5 days, it's going to take 5 days. Like 5 days is the minimum, and 5 day increments is the minimum. So if it's going to take 7 days, it's going to take 10 days. But if it's going to take 14, it's going to take 15. Like it doesn't really matter. Like it's just rounding to the nearest. It's rounding up to the nearest 5 on the number of days it's going to take. Anyway, so something that's going to take an hour. Why do I keep going? I don't know. I'm going insane from doing this shit for too many hours. Yeah, so if it's going to take an hour, it'll take 5 days. Like 5 days is the minimum, rounded up to the nearest 5 days. Which I can change, but it's kind of like I don't need to change that. Like you turn it down, the game gets slower as you do like 30-day steps, and you're building lots of stuff. Turn it up, and the game gets faster. Like later game as the steps, you need to start stepping through either big steps or there's lots of construction that needs to be done every 5 days. So it's like we'll do it every 10 days, and now it takes you're doing half the checks. But you lose the granularity, which is fine later on when you're building thousands of something instead of when you're building 10, because a 10-day step is fine as long as you don't care about 1 day's worth of. Yeah. Anyway, difficulty modifiers are all going to remain at 100. Non-player race generator. Basically, this stuff's all default. Is non-player races is going to have a 30% chance whenever I explore a new system of finding a race that's not a player, so basically an NPC. And then at game start, there'll be 2 NPCs generated that will play the game basically without me interfering. This one is like, while I'm exploring, it'll create more, and I can fight them and kill them, or I can let them be and expand. And then there's a 10% chance that when these guys are exploring, they will find new ones. The reason this is lower is because this doesn't really matter to them. Like they might find and fight and whatever. 10% of the time, it's more about like populating the galaxy slowly over time. Whereas for a player, it's like, well, 1 in 3 systems is going to have aliens for you to try and fight or try and befriend. It's much more important for the player in terms of fun to find lots of aliens than to explore 10 systems and be like, I didn't find any aliens. So it's 3 times more likely that I'll find an alien than the non-player races. And also because non-player races will then fight the alien or not fight the alien, in both cases slowing the game down while they, either because there's now 2 extra aliens, it's exponential growth as they explore through the universe and spawn more and more and more and expand further and further. So you don't want NPCs spawning more NPCs faster, whereas the player is likely to either wipe them out or contain them to a system so that they don't exponentially expand. And the player doesn't care if war goes slow while they're fighting. But I've played this game before where I think I had the NPR activate ancient races turned on, and one of the non-player races found an ancient race, and it was like, I need to go like a year into the future, and it was like, do a 30-day step. 5 seconds later. Oh yeah. It's like, why don't I only go 5 seconds? And it was taking like a minute for the game to chug 5 seconds worth of in-game time, and it was like, oh yeah. And I like looked on the forums and shit, and people were saying it's because NPCs are fighting somewhere and the game's pausing after 5 seconds because it's like, oh yeah, no, the NPC needs to make input. It's like, oh fuck, like, and it would take you'd be like 5. And I don't think it was 5, maybe it was 5 days, and it was because it was basically skipping a construction cycle. And it was like, every time I did it, it was like, you'd hit the skip 30 button, and it would take 20 minutes to go forward like 10 days or something, and then... So the game basically became unplayable, and then you'd be able to skip through a lot of time really quickly. And it was usually because whatever ships were fighting were dead, and now you can skip, heaps of time. But then... hadn't wiped out the aliens, so they would duke it out again. So it was like the game became really fucking like, you were flying through while you needed to fly through, because you can control the speed, and then you would grind to a halt for real life 20 minutes in game, a day, and then you're flying off again, and it's just like, well, it becomes annoying. And that is why you let the player find more aliens than the aliens to find aliens. I think that's where I was going with that. Anyway, our ruin generation chance is 20%. It's 20% chance that when we explore a system that it will have ruins on a planet, or the chances of an ancient ruin on a surfaces of body system generation. Suitable means surfaces temperatures between and gravity. So basically, there's a 20% chance that any planet... Yeah, any suitable system body. Any planet where the temperature range is and the gravity is acceptable, that maybe at some point something lived on it. Then 20% chance of that. Minimum comments per system, 0, which I believe just sort of means random. Because 0 just means that like there could be none that generate. Does this affect... I'm assuming this affects real systems, because... by setting this value to greater than 0, you can overwrite normal generation to ensure a minimum number of comets per system. Okay, truce countdown, it's not going to matter because I don't think I would love to have a NPR in the starting system. I just don't know how to do it, and I also feel that they'll fuck me up or I'll fuck them up real quick. So that's what the truce time is about. Like, it gives you 10 years. But it's kind of like, wouldn't really make that much of a difference, 10 years. And if I set it to 100 years, it's like, well, I can't touch them for such a long time that we'll probably just both go our own ways until 100 years ticks up and they decide to attack. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I wasn't prepared. So it would just make the game a little bit tedious. I'll see if I can do it, though. It depends on how hard it is. Detection is normal in all systems. Basically, this is like how systems work. It's like, so it's like you can have sensors on your ships that can find other ships. If it's set to normal, the AI is treated as if the AI acts the same as if there was a player there. Like, so they have to have sensors to spot other people. None when players not without player present means that the AI won't even see each other if I'm not in the system. They won't ever find each other because there's none. And automatic without player present means that the AI is completely aware of all other AI in the system if the player's not there. If the player's there, they have to treat the game with proper rules, and it's all. So none and automatic, I guess, both of them are going to be faster than the true because it doesn't need to calculate the circles and the detection chance and all that every time ships do anything. But it does mean that you either handicap the AI, depending on what the AI is going to do, because they're either not going to be able to see each other, so they get free reign to move through hostile systems when the player isn't there, or they're going to be able to see everything, which means that they can guard systems without sensors as long as the player's not there. And I guess, I don't know how the AI works, but it could cripple them in that if it's always detected and the player's not present, they'll build really shitty sensors. Or they won't build any sensors at all, which means when the player does enter the system, I mean, both of those, the AI wouldn't prioritize making sensors at all because they either can't see anything ever or can always see everything until they run into the player, which means the player is just going to scoot past them because the player's probably going to have built sensors because the player needs sensors. That's why I leave it at normal. Anyway, we're going with known systems. Which basically just means whenever you enter a new system, it'll generate one from a list of actual star names. And I think it does have distances from Sol, so that means that like the close planets, the close stars the first stars you discover will be actually close to Earth in terms of actual real life. Orbital moons, planets means that they actually orbit and they don't just sit where they are. Again, it's something you can turn off if performance gets really bad because then it doesn't have to calculate where they're moving to. Orbit of asteroids, another thing that's like whether they spin around the sun or whether they just sit where they are. Generate new races as non-player races. I think that's about late game. Let's just see if it tells me. No, some of these don't have tooltips, I don't think. Generate new race. Okay. Any new race created during system generation will be computer controlled, non-player races. If this option is not checked, any new race will require manual control. Okay, so what this is saying is when these generate, whether they're controlled by the computer or whether they have to be controlled by the player. And I think this would come in as if you unticked this and these guys found an enemy race, you would be in control of it as the player. And therefore could fight them or what, so I guess like you could make it like an adversarial thing. It's like where it's not player races versus the player, and every time they find a new race, it's the player. So it's the AI versus the world, and to see how far the AI. That sounds like it could be fun, but I don't know if that's how it works. Like whether it's just if the player finds them, whether it's I think it says all new races. So whether if this option is checked, then during system generation, there'll be non-player races. Will be computer controlled. If this option is not checked, any new race will require manual control. So I guess that does mean that even if the AI finds them, they're still player controlled. That, or a terrible, terrible thing for snowballing, is that if the AI finds them, they're controlled by that AI. And it's like basically just enslaving every race you find. Doesn't seem likely because it doesn't make sense as much of a setting, because you could do that anyway. I think the diplomacy lets you enslave people, but I'm not entirely sure. I've never really made it that far in the game. allow human NPRs means that I can make a race and then give it to the computer to control. Which I think is about like late game. If you're like, I don't want to control this system, like it's miles from anything. I just want to leave the, I just want it mined. I don't want to have to micromanage. You can just make a non-player race and tell them to micromanage it. I think, but I'm not entirely sure. They might just go free. But I can only assume that there's got to be enslaved races, because otherwise it would really suck if the player's like, I release you, and they're just like, war. Even if they're super friendly, it's like, well, I release you, and then they start doing shit you don't want them to do. It's like, no, fuck off, get out of my system. I can't fight you because you're friendly. And if I do fight you, war. Okay, generate non-transnewtonian races only basically means that the game has, fantastical space travel. And if you're non-transnewtonian, then you don't have fantastical space travel. So transnewtonian is fantastical space travel. And what this means is basically that all newly generated races will be pre-industrial. Which means that you'll never find an alien race that has spaceships, basically. You'll only ever find aliens that live on the surface. Which, again, I guess is a bit of a lag thing. If the game slows down too quickly, you can turn that on and it'll stop the aliens from finding aliens that can spread. But they can still industrialize. So if the aliens don't wipe them out, they can industrialize and then go into space. So generate predecessors is a race of ships that are just like super advanced. Yeah, ancient robot-controlled ships are usually found guarding ruins, dangerous. Predecessors of the alien races, which do not believe in the same. Okay, so they don't act the same. Like these are, so there'll be two races that are going to act like players, and then there's these four races are going to act funny. Like these are going to basically be ships, I believe, that so I don't think these will repair themselves because they're just ancient robot ships, and they're just going to guard places. So if you go near it, they'll fight you, but if you leave the system, they're not going to chase you, and they're not going to hunt you down to wipe you out. Invaders, they're coming to wipe you out. They're going to kill you, and usually this is off by default because I think it's a bit of a pain when if you're just trying to play casually and then the aliens come and they're like, I'm going to kill you, and you didn't know they were coming. Because more or less, unless you're really unlucky with where the end... because usually this is 25, so the AI players are at least 25 light years away from you. I've turned it into 0 because that would be really funny if they spawn in the same system as me, and would really add to the story. This is a 22-minute video of me fucking going through shit. Invaders, basically it's like they're actively going to hunt you down and try and kill you as the player. I don't know if they will go after the non-player races, but it basically means you have to build military ships before you leave your system. You can't just do what I normally do, which is just build survey ships and then, go exploring and don't build any military ships. Like, build some military tech, but don't build an actual dedicated weapon ship until after you discover another race. As I'm saying, you'd have to be pretty unlucky to jump to your next system and be like, oh fuck, there's a bad guys here. And I believe they will always be hostile. And probably respawning. I'm assuming they're a constant threat. Like, you can't just wipe them out. Generate star swarms. Star swarms are aliens that live in ships that reproduce in space. Individually weak, but troublesome in numbers. So this is a race of basically really weak little ships that swarm. If you run into one or two of them, you could pick them off really easy with a weak ship, but if you ran into the swarm, you'd be fucked. And they, as it says, they reproduce in space, which means that you can't go wipe out their home planet. They just you just run into them and they're in a system, and they might move to a different system. They don't have a home planet to wipe out. Recats? An alien species that live of living ships that reproduce in space. Wait, so the swarm is the same. An alien species of living ships that reproduce in space. Okay. Okay. It doesn't appear to have a tooltip. Okay. Okay, and then you can tell it whether the AI is allowed to trip the ancient races, because I believe the ancient, these races are like either laggy or like they're really not quite balanced for AI to deal with. So like having them trip the Star Swarm might fuck the AI because they can't fight the Star Swarm, or it might just lag the game because these I believe are always hostile when found. So the AI would have to fight them even if they wanted to go to diplomatic. Realistic commander promotions. After the promotions within your office's corporation, basic skill, merit, time, and grade. Yeah, so realistic promotions means that you don't have to micromanage your commanders. Like you could, but it also, I believe, means that you can't forcibly promote someone higher than their rank. But basically, it just means you don't have to micromanage. And then I've given them the political bonus, which basically means that they're promoted based on their skill and time in position and the medals that they've earned. Which, wow, if I make this into a series, I can actually use medals. I tend not to use them because they're a bit more cosmetic. Like they can give you some micromanaging, but they're more like you've got to come up with a medal and why they win it. And it's more of a story thing than a gameplay thing because all it does is give them political bonus. In Commander political bonus basically means that when using realistic promotions, officers will basically get a skill, so they get mining and population growth and economic growth and stuff like that. They'll get one that's just called political bonus, and it does literally nothing except make them more promotable. So someone might have really shitty skills but a really high political bonus, and you wouldn't want them to be in charge of anything because the only reason they're there is because of their political ties. I'm doing it more for a story purpose, and I think it also balances the game a little bit that you can end up with some weird people at the top that it's like, yeah, I'm fucking political, and you're like, well, how do I get rid of this fuck? Inexperienced fleet penalties means that when you put a fleet of ships together, you've got to put them out to train. You can't just stick 100 ships into a fleet and expect them to work in perfect coordination. You've got to train them, which is the inexperienced fleet penalty. All jump points are stable. I'm turning that off. I think it's off by default. Basically, there's jump points to different systems. This is how you go from one system to another. You go to a jump point, you go through it. You need a jump drive unless the jump point is stable. I believe before the C#, they had jump gates on them, and jump gates let a ship jump without a jump drive, and they're one directional, I believe, but I'm not entirely sure because it says stable, so that may be bi-directional now. But it used to be if you had a gate on one end, you could jump through, but it didn't necessarily mean you could jump back unless there was a gate on the other end. And this let you do things like you could build a gate on your end going into an enemy system and jump armadas of fleet of combat ships without jump drives on them, so they're faster and more agile. You jump them through your gate without giving the enemy a way to jump back through because they would need jump drives or to build a jump gate. And of course, you're probably going to be defending the point, and it takes a year, I think, or no, 180 days, I think is the fastest you can stabilize a jump point. But the fact that it says stable makes me think that it's probably bi-directional. But yeah, it just means that like if you've got a trade route, you probably want to stabilize all the wormholes because you don't want your trade ships having to have jump drives. Whereas your military ships, you might have a scouting fleet that has jump drives and then a big armada fleet that guards your home system, and when it attacks, you build stabilized jumps in so that you can jump your ship in, and then basically they'll be stuck in there. But once you've wiped out the enemy, you can stabilize the wormhole to get them out, as opposed to you could also do like the mothership approach of having a really big ship with a really big jump drive that jumps all the other ships in. Okay, we'll jump shit. Yeah, okay. No maintenance required is that military ships need maintenance over time. So if you send your military ship out, and if you don't maintain them past their maintenance life, they have a risk of failure. So engine could just fail, and turning that off would stop the need for that. But I like having that on because again, it adds a little bit. So you can't just build a really big military ship and just send it across the galaxy. You've got to It can only go out for so long. It does get a little bit annoying. Like I've had a few problems with that at least in the C# version. I don't remember them in the original of ships not coming back to repair. Like you have to actively tell them to rewind their clock despite them being back at port. But also I think the biggest reason that that's the case is because he changed gravitational sensors from being civilian to being military, I think. Maybe they always were. I thought it was the gravitational ones only that were military. But the result is that if you make a survey ship, it's military, which means it needs to do maintenance. Civilian ships don't need to do maintenance because I guess, they're just considered to be always getting maintained. Like, they don't have dangerous engines. They just patch it back together. Civilian shipping lanes active means that civilian shipping companies can start up and build ships to do things for you. One thing that I've noticed, and it pisses me off, is you have to build a colony ship. Because the only time that civilian shipping lanes will start building ships is if you have 2 colonies with people on them. Which means that even though you can build a colony and say, please colonize this, the AI will not move colonists unless there are already colonists there. But once they've got their colony ship built, you can just pick another colony. You don't have to move anyone there. You can have 0 people and they will automatically send them there. They just won't build the first ship, which is a little bit annoying to me because it's kind of like you have to build a colony ship to then only ever use it once. Because you can't just build because I figured I could build a freighter, carry some thing there, and they would build a colony ship because there was potential for colonists to be transported. But no, if there's no people there, they don't consider it. And I think it's like a anti-lag thing, so the civilians don't just start building ships until there's actually a need for it. It's just I don't think the criteria is correct because the main thing I want to use the civilian fleets for is transporting colonists, so I don't have to build big colony ships and leave that up to the AI. I've turned off civilian mining, which it's a little bit concerning by the tooltip because it says civilians will not build ships. But I'm assuming that's mining ships or, harvesters because this one says the same thing. No civilian ships will be built. But, wait, does this not have a... No, this doesn't have a tooltip either. Okay. Well, I don't want the civilians building mining outposts because it pisses me off when it's like, I need this resource and the civilians are fucking mining it and nicking all my money. Or nicking the resource and converting it to money. And it's like, well, no, I want the resource, not the fucking money. So I'd rather all mining operations are run by the government. No civilian mining. But it could also be referring to no civilian harvesters being fuel harvesters, which would be a little bit annoying because it would be nice if the civilians could, set up their harvesting ships for me. Okay, new tech from conquests basically means that if you beat an enemy and take like a really advanced engine off them, it gives you a boost to discovering that engine. Costs less tech points. The starting year, I'm going to do 2048 just because, what is that? I have no idea. It's fucking 2 to the 10 or something like that. 2 to the 12 maybe. I don't know. It's a square of 2. It sounds nice. 2048. Yeah, so number of player races, 1, because fuck controlling multiple player races. Maybe for story reasons, like I might do that in the future. And then number of non-player races is 2, minimum distance. Minimum Sol jump points is 0, which is random. Basically, how many other systems are connected to Sol. So I could say, like, there needs to be at least 10 other systems, which would make Sol a fucking nexus of, like, other systems that you can go to. You could say 1, so that Sol's always in a dead end, and therefore you only have to defend 1 jump point. But I like random because it adds randomness to the game. I think random will always be greater than 1. Like, I don't think it's possible for there to be a system with 0, because henceforth 0 equals random. Because if it has 0, it means there's no way to get in and no way to get out. If it has 1, there's only one way in. Now, weirdly, you could end up with a 1 into a 1, which would mean that you only have 2 systems. But I'm assuming he has checks for that. Because otherwise, the rest of the map would be disconnected, and there'd be no way to get into your bubble. And then there's no point simulating the rest of the map because you can't get out of your bubble. So I'm assuming that he probably, when he's generating the map, starts in the starting system and, runs, branches out and makes sure that every system that's going to be generated can be reached from the starting system. And if you can reach it from the starting system, then you can reach it from any system, because in theory you could go through the starting system. But I'm not sure how that's done, but basically. I like randomness. Earth mineral deposits, 100%, because again, there's no point turning that up or down, because unless I want to, for story reasons, handicap myself, I can be like, oh, there's only 50% of the resources, so we have to explore space. But I probably just find that annoying, because I usually run out of a resource at least, and mining on other planets is a fucking pain compared to mining on the starting planet. Minimum distance to MPR I set to 0, because I think it'd be really funny if one spawned in my system. And also, I don't really mind, I guess, again, for story reasons, if I jump into another system and there's fucking aliens. So, okay. And then maximum 50 light years, because I guess the maximum sort of about make it you can set the maximum. You set it low if you want to be almost guaranteed to find them in a short period of time, and really high if you don't care if you never see them. And then just for shits and giggles, I'm adding Planet X, because, why not? Really, I shouldn't, because from my testing, Planet X is so far away that you tend to be on your third generation of ship before you have one that has enough fuel to get there and back. Or at least that's what I've found. Anyway, I have literally spent 36 minutes just rambling on about this crap before we even hit create game. Now we have to create our race. Species. Human. No. Well, I guess we are human. I kind of wanted to go foxes, but it doesn't really make any sense. System theme. US 41 for freedom. System theme. System theme Japanese. Yeah, Japan. I'm just trying to think of one that would give me cool system names, and I really have no idea. Class theme is leaders. Names beginning. Okay. Class theme moons. Can we go? Is it basically these are just lists sorts. System themes. I have a feeling you're supposed to pick a system theme when you're in your system theme setting. Just because, but it's more of a system theme country, system theme Warhammer. These are just lists of names that they'll pick when it's generating a random system. We'll use the system name, and then when it's naming a class of ship, no theme, Warhammer, weapons, victory ships, USSR, munition ships. So I'm assuming these are lists of real ship names or real class names. But hey, you wouldn't want your class theme to be repair ships, because that's their class. I had a specific thing that I wanted. Animals. Is there an animals? Yes, animals. So our classes are going to be named after animals. And our ranks are going to be Andromeda? Rank theme. So the rank theme is basically instead of having a commander, you have a this or a that, or a private or an admiral or a lieutenant. I don't know that many ranks, but basically it's what those are called. The highest tier is this and the lowest tier is that. Shotguns. So I'm assuming these are these ones are real place names. Hippie. France. So I'm assuming the France one will have the highest actual French. But I also don't want to do that. I don't want a real place. I want something dumb. Italian, Israel, Iran. So these are all real places. Norse could be interesting. Go with more Japan, but that seems a little bit too Japan. I just think that Japanese names would be cool for systems. See, because the systems has a lot more variance, whereas the ranks, it's kind of like, well, you just Turkey, United States, United Kingdom, Warhammer, Welsh could be interesting. I probably wouldn't be able to say any of them. I'm gonna go with Norse. And then naming theme, no, not Japanese. Alien Race 1, Afghanistan. Naming theme. I think these are languages, aren't they? Not. We go with Ancient Greek naming theme. Yeah, it says English. It's not Australia. It's English. Probably should go with English because I don't really know what naming theme comes down to, but my assumption is that the naming theme is going to be the name of people. And so if I pick Japanese names, they're all going to be Japanese people. And I just don't think I could pronounce the names. And it's the same thing with like ancient and modern Greek, as it's like I wouldn't be able to say the names, but we're going to go with ancient Greek because just shuffle things around. So our systems are going to be named by Japanese, with the Japanese system themes. Our classes are going to be named by animals. Our ranks are going to be named Norse ranks, which I'm assuming means that like a Thor is going to be an admiral and whatnot. An Odin will be an admiral, I'm assuming. That or the Norse actually had, because it doesn't have to be mythology. Like the Norse may actually just have a military rank system. And then our naming thing is going to be ancient Greek. We could make it a non-player race, which I just think would be really funny. Title is going to be, who knows? Homeworld is Terra. Race short name is going to be Fox, and the race title is going to be I mean, it's kind of dumb. I mean, my species is human. The race's title is PhaestusFox. It's just a little like presumptuous. I don't know, but like I also remember kind of like, well, I don't know what else to call them. They're not a non-player race. They are a conventional empire, though. Basically, non-player race would mean that I couldn't control them. They would just be AI. Which I'm assuming it would then make me generate another one. Like that might be how you add two races to a system, but I don't want to do that right now because if it fucks up and I don't have a player race. Anyway, conventional empire basically means non-trans-Newtonian. So you just basically get a huge penalty to all this stuff, and you have to then research the shit that lets your spaceships work. Neutral race. Just basically takes away everything else. So yeah, neutral race to zero is everything. And the idea of a neutral race is that, wow, they don't even get any research facilities. They can't do anything. So you have a neutral race to go and enslave them, and then they can't research any tech or anything. They can't progress without outside influence. They're literally neutral. They cannot fight. And then if I was Newtonian, I could auto-assign tech points, because you start with tech points? Starting tech points, 80,000. So basically that's a head start. You get 80,000 tech points that you could put into any tech you wanted to skip really far ahead. Auto-design ground forces, auto-design ship classes. So basically, if you're already in space, randomly generate some new stuff. Then that's a little weird. I don't get that. I would think if you haven't made it to space, I guess it's just you haven't made it to beyond real physics spaceships yet. So you could have done it with real physics. Yeah. So home system surveyed and grav scanned would mean that I don't have to make survey and gravity scanning ships. But I kind of like doing that. Xenophobia. I'm assuming a higher xenophobia would mean more afraid of aliens, and so the higher, the more you'll dislike them. Determination. I can change these, right? I'm just going to leave them as they are. Trade is 41. Ideal gravity, ideal temperature, ideal oxygen. maximum pressure, maximum gravity, maximum temperature, maximum oxygen deviation, population density multiplier, population growth multiplier, research rate modifier. So basically just some traits that you can engineer. Like if I needed to colonize a planet with higher gravity, I could genetically engineer humans to be able to withstand high gravity, and would mean that those humans would be able to live on that planet, but might penalize other things. And so, I mean, I'm assuming if I tick non-player race, it would just get me to make another one, but I don't want to do it just in case. So we want to change the flag. And this is just going to open up a shitload of flags. Pirates. It could be Nazis. Just kind of want a cool flag. Communists. No. I don't want to pick a country flag because that's a little, I could go Australian because, I am Australian, but go with UN. Go with is that Welsh? I don't remember. Weird. Star. That's a country flag as well, isn't it? They're basically all country flags because where would you get flags from? Let's go with this one. We are smart people. Okay, then we're gonna change our image. I think we stick with pretty generic human. Could go with Battlestar Galactica human. Is that Warhammer human? I don't know. I haven't played Warhammer, but I can only guess from my vague recollection of it. Some Doctor Who. I think this is Doctor Who. Star Wars. Maybe it's Star Wars. I haven't seen Star Wars, or at least not the original 6. This is not Stargate. Star Trek. There we go, Star Trek. Yeah. I don't know why I'm going through these races. I like this one. Yeah, I think we'll go with this guy just because. Okay, change hull. I think this is the image it displays on the map when you have a ship in the in that sector. Yeah, we'll go with this because that's a Daedalus class. Yeah, I think that's Daedalus class. Change station. We don't want a Death Star. We want Battlestar Galactica, whatever that thing's called. I don't remember what that is. Station. Yeah, and again, these will show up on the map, I believe, when you have a space station built in the system. That's God, I vaguely know what this is. It's the zero gravity thing from something Andromeda. Who knows? I'm literally just wasting time. This video is fucking 50 minutes long, and it's just 50 minutes of me rambling. Kind of hope that the people that view this just like it and keep and don't actually spend fucking 50 minutes listening to me fucking ramble on. I'm gonna go with this thing. And then random name, no, and create race. Okay, and this video is definitely getting deleted after I decide to make the series because God. Okay, so PhaestusFox. If we zoom in, there's a leap point at Jupiter, right? No, there's just a random leap point in this cluster of asteroids. So weird. It's in. Or is it leap point or is it Lagrange point? I don't know because it's in Jupiter's Lagrange, as seen by all the comments in the Lagrange points. Is there comments on the other Lagrange? I don't think so. No. But this one's not marked. This would be L2, LP2. But also, I vaguely remember there being leap points as being quick ways to get across the galaxy. So if you go through this, it'll come out over here or something, and so you can, which would be useless. It might come over here. So you can, instead of going this way, you could go whoop. But it's also literally in the Lagrange point. So it could just be Lagrange point. And it's like a place where you could orbit a ship. But nonetheless, oh, I think I also missed over the fact, if I go back to settings, I put the sun's cooling at 1% per year as like a catastrophe that's happening. As a, like, I don't know, like, last time I did play the game, and I actually got far enough for that to affect me, it completely fucked me because I forgot about it. And then suddenly my home planet needed infrastructure in order to support its population. And it didn't have it. And it could not build it fast enough. So I went from being able to build like 1,000 infrastructure in a week to being able to build like 10 infrastructure in a week. Because everyone died because they didn't have infrastructure and they couldn't build it. And it just spiraled down. But it is fun because it means basically you've just got to try and escape your starting system. But anyway, like the video if you want to see, if you want to actually see my series on this. Hopefully it works out. So basically the idea is going to be that I'll play 10 years of the game, read the log that sums up everything that happened over those 10 years. Really, I should be doing other shit with this, like assigning people, but that would be story. Yeah, so basically run 10 years, read the log of what everything that happened through those 10 years, anything that is, I could string into a story, create a story out of it, and then, you know, make like a, there'll be a link in the description to a channel that is like, that'll give you an idea. They do Dwarf Fortress, but the same sort of thing where they like sort of use the game to structure a story out of the system. But anyway, hopefully this video gets like 10 views and I can actually feel comfortable with making the series, I guess. That's the way to put it. Or like putting time into making the series. Probably still going to make it anyway.